From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Wednesday's edition of For the People on this Wednesday, August the 30th, 2017. I had to kind of laugh at myself from yesterday's show because I was wishing for the end of the week, and there it was only Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, and I think one of the reasons that I probably said such a thing was I've been a little under the weather. And I think, your immune system can be run down when you're under a great deal of stress, and I think that's been the case. My mother-in-law is in ICU. Well, she's actually out of ICU. They moved her into another room, and they're calling on hospice to step in because her liver and her kidneys have failed, and she's been unconscious for a couple days. And today she gets dialysis, I think, for the second time. And that kind of helps out a little bit sometimes for her to regain consciousness. But it's a waiting game. And anyways, I don't know if it was in the hospital or someplace. But, we have this habit of, as human beings, to put our fingers in our mouth and our eyes. And I think I caught an infection in my eyelid. And it's all swollen. And the drops that my eye doctor gave me are not working, and it kind of looks like somebody hit me in the eye. And so anyways, they got me on Augmentin, like 500 milligrams twice a day for 2 weeks. So I don't know if it was something, bacteria from the hospital. I've never had anything in my eyelid. It's not the eye, it's the eyelid. So it's very peculiar. And I'm, wear contacts, and I've been forced to wear glasses. Today, I just couldn't stand it after I learned that the eyeball itself is okay. I have the contacts in for today, and I'll take them out tonight to give my eyes a break. I have never, ever liked glasses. I just don't like them. So anyways, and I don't like to miss any days behind the microphone. I think there's just too many things important to talk about, and I usually vacations, I don't even take them. But maybe the vacation coming up on Monday, on Labor Day, I might decide to do the best of. And I'll let stations know, obviously, on the network, if that's the case, and how you'll be able to pick up the show. For those that listen on the podcast, it'll just be normal, as if I was there all along. That's the nice thing about podcast, anytime. But yes, that's just for that's radio station talk. That's for the program directors. So you're just kind of hearing a little shop talk, and I'm just doing it live. Anyways, I think I'm a little delirious because of this medicine. I don't know, but I still have my coffee here, and I have plenty to talk about today. Joel Osteen, one of America's favorite evangelists, and very well received across the country by a lot of folks, but a lot of folks, at the same token, don't necessarily like Evangelicals, and they don't like Joel Osteen or his church because of the accusations being made that his church door is closed and simply didn't want to take in flood victims, which Joel Osteen was on TV today and says that I think that sometimes people try to make that a narrative, that we're not open to people. But we've been doing this for 60 years and will continue doing it. As for his critics, Osteen said that he hasn't paid much attention to them, as it's easy to pass judgment from afar. Social media is a powerful tool these days, Osteen said. I think some of it's just people that don't like people, like me, or people of faith. And he said he's focusing on what he called to do, which is helping his fellow Houstonians and lifting people's spirits. Let us know what you think at our Facebook page at For the People Show, or on forthepeopleshow.com. What do you think about the whole thing? There's definitely attack on evangelical Christians. There's always going to be the peanut gallery. In social media, people can spout off and they can say whatever it is and chime in and just add to the negativity without ever doing their due diligence, without finding out if there's any truth or merit to it, and having no knowledge whatsoever about a particular church faith group other than they're not a part of it. And yeah, all them Christians, all those do-gooders. Speaking of doing good, and I have this posted on my personal website, Keith Allen at Facebook, and then also on the For the People official Facebook posting where we post things officially for the For the People broadcast. And a lot of you have already followed us or liked us and know what's going on. But I posted Samaritan's Purse as being a go-to place because they have sent, convoy with tractor trailers full of water and food and supplies, and they could use your help right now. So if you could donate something to the Samaritan's Purse with Franklin Graham's organization, they're doing a lot of good, or just simply a charity of your choice that you know is doing some good work there. I just know that Samaritan's Purse, the stuff gets there. People are not getting greedy with the organization. They're not top-heavy, which there's a lot of nonprofits that way. Franklin Graham and Reverend Billy Graham, they are two of my favorite evangelicals, I got to tell you, in Christendom, as examples of what a Christian can be and can do. And if you don't know anything about Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham, one of his first books that he put out was Rebel with a Cause. Or is it Without a Cause? I think it's With a Cause. And he considers himself a rebel. And Jesus was, his disciples were. And, yeah, a great book, but it'll give you, he wasn't always a saint. But he improved. And that's what we're all wanting to do, is to get better. But I think the book will be very inspirational for anybody. And especially if you take my word for Franklin Graham being exceptional, and you're looking for some great reading, you'll enjoy that book immensely, I assure you. Harvey's Rain is been the heaviest in history. So if you've been listening to the coverage, been watching some of the coverage, and maybe not keeping up with the coverage as much as talk show hosts do or news junkies, I mean, it's a really big deal, folks. And as the human toll and the strain on flood defenses mounted, the city of Houston opening 2 and possibly 3 more shelters, and the rain from Harvey's officially became the heaviest tropical downpour in U.S. history. I mean, that's on the history books. I mean, that's fact. So it is monumental. Louisiana's governor, he offered to take in Harvey victims from Texas, and televangelist Joel Osteen, they're saying that he's reopening his church. It's been open, but anyways, officially to the media. And it can, 16,000 seat arena? Exactly. So there's plenty of places that folks can go. Plenty of doors have been opened to help these folks. It's just search and rescue, door to door, house to house. A lot of people are taking to social media trying to get, boats over there. And basically what the local authorities are saying, if you're listening to this broadcast somehow on phone, we do have a lot of folks that listen to the show in Texas and a lot of supporters from Texas. God bless Texas for sure. They're saying that you still need to call 911. So if you have a cell and you have battery power, they say that's still the quickest to call the police department, call 911 to actually get a boat out there. Do not rely strictly on social media, Twitter or Facebook. So that's kind of some good advice there if you're still trying to get rescued. But all in all, more than 17,000 people have sought refuge in Texas shelters. And that number seems certain to increase, according to the American Red Cross. So after the mayor's announcement, volunteers and donors lined up outside the Toyota Center, the downtown arena that is home to the Houston Rockets, in anticipation that it will be one of the new shelters. Details of new shelters were expected soon. The mayor said that the city has asked the Federal Emergency Management Agency for more supplies, including cots and food for an additional 10,000 people, which he hopes to get no later than sometime today. So almost 4 days after the storm ravaged Texas coastline. It's a Category 4 hurricane. Authorities have confirmed there's over, 15 deaths now? All sorts of reasons, including a woman killed Monday when heavy rains dislodged a large oak tree on her trailer home in a small town of Porter. But then unconfirmed reports of other missing or presumed dead were growing. 6 members of a family were feared dead after their van sank into the Greens Bayou in East Houston. A Houston hotel said that one of its employees disappeared while helping about 100 guests and workers evacuate the building. And then very, very sad news for one of Houston's very own. Houston police confirmed that the 60-year-old officer drowned in his patrol car after he became trapped in high water while driving to work. You may have heard the story that this police officer's wife said, "Hey, listen, it's too dangerous out there." And he said, "Hey, I got some work to do. There's work to be done." And they could not go and rescue him because it was too dangerous. And so they had to agonize listening to this officer, his final moments in his squad car as he was overtaken by water. But man, this guy was committed to helping his fellow Texans. So it's commendable. He definitely gave his life in service, and God bless him. And for all those rescue workers, for all those families, George W. Now, I have not heard him speak in recent times, but it was kind of neat to hear his voice. And, he's a Texan, obviously, and he's there. So former President George W. Bush, he was visiting Southern Methodist University football practice yesterday to comfort players from the Houston area in the wake of the tropical storm. And I wanted you to listen in on some of that pep talk. So here he is, George W.
I know there's some people from Houston here, in the Houston area, and I know you're going through a really tough time. And just know that there'll be a lot of people that are going to help you, help the people down there, a lot. The country, right now they're recovering, and so the key thing on the recovery is to keep people safe. And then it's going to be rebuilding. And if you're from that area, you'll be amazed at the people who come down there to help. All kinds of people. And so the days are dark now, but they're going to get better.
All right, so there's George W. It's nice that he could still be a comforter, and he was very good at that. I mean, you remember in 9/11, who could ever forget that with a bullhorn? But he definitely has a great quality of being able to do that. So God bless him for being able to comfort the players and staff and the coach, etc. The Houston Chronicle, they're reporting at least 18 people. I just gave a number earlier, but, the number is expected, sadly, to rise in its aftermath. And then 13,000 victims of the storm have been rescued in the Houston and surrounding areas. That's 13,000 still going on, and we're still praying that more people are rescued, more people are being found. And don't grow weary of helping others. If, you say it's not my area, maybe if it was people in, Florida, maybe if it was people in Michigan or, in my state or wherever that might be, don't grow weary because it could be your state next. And you'd really hope that there would be good people that help you. And there's complete strangers that are en route right now to Texas with boats, with water, with food, with supplies. And a lot of businesses have packed up items, stoves and where people can cook, and supplies and drywall, because there's going to be, a lot of repairs that are going to have to be made to people's houses because of mold and et cetera. They're going to have to rip this stuff out. So there's a lot of work that's ahead, obviously, and the floodwaters in some places have receded a little bit, but the worst is yet to come in some neighborhoods as they're still having to make decisions